Knock knock, who's there? It's the best show on the internet, Preston Can't Play. Joining me, as always, it's Preston Black.
I am playing.
And I was going to rip open your shirt again. It's Chowboy, 100 pounds of pure muscle, human dynamo, Ton Mitchell.
I wish the ghost had never taught you that this shirt has snappy buttons.
I've been cursed with power and knowledge.
Alright, this whole place is like a giant, like, it's not a maze, but it's like got a lot of different paths and areas to visit, and I just wanted to have my...
I think you're a maze. Ying. Baby.
Oh, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the only WWE recap show within a Let's Play. It's Let's Talk. Over here in this corner, climbing to the top ropes, about to fly to the sky and fall, it's a Preston Black.
Hey, what's up?
And rushing to the ring with a steel chair, it's Chowboy, 100 pounds of pure muscle, the human dynamo, Ton Mitchell.
You're gonna get yourself disqualified.
Welcome to it's a no DQ.
Oh.
I'm not even in the match, actually. I'm just showing up to fuck shit.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, dog. That's my shit. That's my flavor.
Okay.
Welcome back to part 2 of our ongoing series.
Wow. Tifa just did 1,117 damage.
You're welcome. Literally, you're welcome. That's because of me that she did that, because I convinced you to buy her new weapon. You were all like, no.
You were right to do that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
She's big, strong.
Big, strong. Welcome back to our ongoing series of WrestleMania recap. Discussion. Sorry, I had a burp come up in the middle of that and lost my entire train of thought. Everything was just disheveled.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
We're going through the WrestleMania 35 card, and Preston is providing his hot takes, insights, information, and I don't know, dog. Just he's talking about wrestling.
There it is.
Up next, we've got the singles match, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre.
It was fine. That was another one that I kind of half-tuned out of. Roman Reigns won, which was nice because he just came back from having leukemia.
Forbes did give this one a C-.
Yeah, it wasn't... There's nothing really happened. There's really not much to say. It was pretty formulaic. It was pretty by the numbers, and everyone looked good, you know. But that's all there is to it. I wasn't hugely invested in it. Well, thank you. You're very kind. I'm gonna pop one of these open right meow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Ooh, that is tasty. That's our Fremont.
I'm giving it them ASMR.
Me too.
I love my friends. I feel like I'm in hell. Is this hell?
That was your idea. I'll have you know.
Yeah, it was funny when I was doing it. By the time you got to it, it was stale.
No.
I'm just kidding. Hey, Giant Cloud. Anything else on the Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre? I'm kind of surprised. I feel like McIntyre is very physical.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that match maybe wasn't very exciting.
I just don't think they didn't really have any interesting spots. They didn't really do much of anything. I mean, they both did their moves, and then Roman Reigns won.
Okay. Chill.
Yeah.
Moving on. Music scene / brawl, Elias and John Cena.
A lot of people really liked this. I didn't.
Wow. Truth come out.
Yeah, so it's...
People were excited about the return of John Cena's Thugonomics, and that means nothing to me. Can you tell me what that is?
So John Cena, the way that John Cena debuted was faceless wrestler guy. He was just John Cena. He had a 2003 haircut, like wrestling trunks, and like that's it. He had a decent like debut where he kind of had a quick like match with Kurt Angle to sort of introduce him to the audience. And it worked out. It's an iconic moment in WWE history. And
Cloud jumping on clouds.
yeah,
This is nice.
instructions on how to cross this in one way, but not the other. So let's see if I can do this.
I believe in you.
Thanks.
Wow. Powerful.
I did it. And then he pretty much like fizzled out. Like he just wasn't interesting. He was just like a really like creator wrestler type guy. And so it's now the stuff of legend, but what ended up happening was they were on the road or something, or like on a bus. And as a goof, John Cena started freestyle rapping. Stephanie McMahon was present and thought it was hilarious. So they wrote it into an episode. They had their Halloween episode coming up. So John Cena showed up on their Halloween episode dressed as Vanilla Ice.
Okay.
And did a freestyle rap. And it went over so hard that they immediately made John Cena's gimmick that he was a white rapper.
Oh, Jesus.
So much so that they like paid for him to go into the studio and like he released an album.
Oh my God. Is it on Spotify?
It must be. And that became his thing. So his whole gimmick was that he was the doctor of thugonomics, and he was like this heel. He had like this absurd huge like chain with a padlock that he wore as a necklace.
Okay.
Then he wore like the baggy jorts and like baseball caps. It's just kind of similar to the stuff that he wears currently, but just more 2002 and like more like a rapper and not just like he's playing a character who's
We've
like
got
a dad.
WWE You Can't See Me from 2005. Is that the album? 2005.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Should I play it and get us a copyright strike?
I guess if you want.
I wonder which one's like the hit. Let's go up to his The Time Is Now. That's probably his theme song.
That's the theme song that he's using right
Basic
now.
Thugonomics.
Yeah, that's the big song. That's his original like intro theme. I think. Yeah. Yeah, so this was the intro that he came out to on WrestleMania, and then they changed it. Once he turned babyface, he started doing the other one.
Okay.
My Time Is Now. Yeah, so he came out and he was dressed in his old gear, and he cut a rap on Elias and then hit him with what you would know as the AA, but he referred to it as the FU, which is what it was called when he first used it as a heel.
Hearing the ghost quietly react to Game of Thrones in the other room.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
And that was it. And the reason that I didn't like it is because I had never really found the Thugonomics gimmick particularly interesting. And there's not going to be any follow-up. John Cena's not going to come back as the doctor of Thugonomics. He's not going to have a feud with Elias. It was just a gimmick for WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, they're going to do stuff like that for WrestleMania, and I can't complain too hard because it kind of comes with the territory. I wish that they would just let Elias do things.
Yeah.
Instead of just, like, have his gimmick be that people come out and beat him up when he tries to, like, have time in the ring. Mm-hmm. That being said, the lead up to that, Ton, was on the Titantron. They did the, like, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And a video on the Titantron came up, and it was Elias sitting at a drum set. and then they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elias." And next to Elias on the drum set in the video was Elias at a piano.
Awesome.
And then they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elias, and then the lights came up, and Elias was in the ring like he usually is. And he had a conversation with the Eliases on the Titantron.
Oh my God.
And they played a song as a band. And it was amazing.
I love that. Oh my God.
And then he said some cue line, and John Cena came out. That was one of my favorite parts of WrestleMania. But I didn't like the payoff with John Cena. I thought that was silly. I'm over it.
Singles match, Triple H, Batista.
I thought this was good. It went long. Triple H always ends up having the longest match on the WrestleMania card. It was too long, but it was nice.
Is he just trying to prove he can still do it? So I read the Forbes review of it as well, and he was just saying it's weird that these guys who are almost 50 had the most physical match of the night.
I mean, Triple H has always been pretty heavily involved in politicking backstage, and now he's like the boss, so he can just do whatever he wants. Yeah, I think, for all the good things that you can say about Triple H, I think he's greedy and he wants to still go.
Yeah, stay relevant.
Yeah, he wants to have big long matches because he can, and no one can stop him from doing it. I love these guys, these little tiny ice golems.
Those are pretty cute. Oh, they're very cute. I like the way they move.
Yeah. And they don't react to being hit, which I also like.
So it goes. This too shall pass.
But it was good. I really enjoyed the match, actually. And I've heard since then that it meant a lot to Dave Bautista, which is
really
nice. Yeah.
What's that?
Because he wanted to have an actual retirement match. He didn't want to just not have a final match and call it a final match. And Triple H is hugely responsible for the success that he's had.
Yeah.
So it was really important to him to lose that match to Triple H, as a show of respect.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Singles match, Kurt Angle, Baron Corbin, speaking of retirement matches.
I mean, I am in more agreement with the internet that match would have had more meaning to the fans if it had been Kurt Angle and John Cena.
Okay.
Because Kurt Angle was who John Cena debuted against. And like I said, they had that legendary moment of his debut. It was similarly, also people were complaining that he lost. And the tradition in wrestling is when you retire, you lose.
Okay.
You lose your last match. The saying is, you go in on your back, you go out on your back.
Okay.
So when you have your first match, you're supposed to lose your first match because you're new, and you shouldn't be beating up guys who are regulars. And then when you're on your way out, you use that reputation to
empower someone else,
to empower someone that's younger. It gives credibility to the person that beat you, because the assumption is that you've kind of attained a higher status if you've lasted long enough to have an actual retirement match.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin, he's grown on me.
Ugh.
He really has.
Ugh.
He's really good at being just a shitty heel.
Ugh. And
his booking could be better, but I don't entirely mind him as a performer. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with. I thought the match was fine. Kurt Angle looked good. He got his shit in, and he made Corbin look like $1 million. I mean, there's not much more I can say. There was no shenanigans, They didn't sour Baron Corbin's victory.
Okay.
And now he'll have that for years. To make him look legit. I mean, Baron Corbin's someone that I think But doing the program with him being like all this stuff, I don't know how much you saw it, because I think it was when you were still tuning in, but they had this long program where they made Baron Corbin the acting general manager. Before that, he was the constable of Raw. Basically, he was there to like be like a stand-in for Stephanie McMahon, who was Kurt Angle's boss in kayfabe. And so they had a lot of interactions together over the course of the past couple of years. And in wrestling, Baron Corbin has not... Like, he's always had, like, a pretty high spot in the mid-card.
Okay.
But he's always lost. He completely, like... They booked him to completely ruin his Money in the Bank opportunity, which no one ever does. It's only happened, like, once or twice before.
Okay.
That someone actually lost their Money in the Bank opportunity.
Well, he stole it from Braun, right? Or is that a different one?
No, I'm not sure.
Because Braun had Money in the Bank for a while.
Oh, no, that was before Braun had it. Baron Corbin won Money in the Bank.
Okay.
And he held on to it for a little while. He cashed it in and lost.
Okay.
Which, like, never happens. It's pretty much a guarantee if you win the Money in the Bank contract that you're going to pick that championship up.
Okay.
And so, like, he loses a lot of his big opportunities in the ring. So I think it was good for him to get that big win over Kurt Angle. Very decisive win. Now, whether or not you like Baron Corbin is up to you to decide. I certainly don't think he has, like, universal appeal, but I think he's good at what he does. And like I said, he's grown on me as a heel. So I thought it was fine, just fine.
Intercontinental Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Finn Balor.
It was nice to finally get the Demon on WrestleMania. And I think that he looked super strong. But they did a good job of having Balor look strong as the Demon, but not just completely squashing Bobby Lashley.
Okay.
Which I thought was good. I'm not like a huge Lashley fan, but I mean, I try to separate like my subjective opinion of wrestlers to like my objective, like, how are they
placing those pins?
Yeah, so the gimmick here is that there's like snowy winds, so it's easy to get lost, and the camera shifts. So in order, and there's no landmarks really on this very large screen. So in order to continuously find my way, I have to place these pins so that I can maintain a perspective.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a hut in the middle of this screen somewhere, but it's a little bit hard to find unless you like go perfectly straight. These are my favorite enemy in the game.
They're the new starter fire type from Pokemon.
They're just called jumping. This is like this area's equivalent of the buff guy that was hanging from the pendulum.
Really? They just show up here and never again?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But they're amazing.
Yeah.
It's just a very large rabbit carrying a sack that has a carrot that they use for a weapon.
And they dive kick.
Yeah.
Which is pretty powerful.
Yeah, and I would say that it was kind of sloppy. Like, the match was fine, but like the bleed up to it was a bit sloppy because they gave Finn Balor the Intercontinental Championship, and then they were like, "Oh no, wait, we should do the Demon at WrestleMania. Give it back to Lashley."
Really?
Yeah. Like, the reason they gave him, and then almost immediately after they gave Balor the title, they took it off of him, and the reason that they gave was because we have big plans for you, bigger plans for you. Those bigger plans were just giving him that title back, but having a huge WrestleMania like Demon win, which is good for him. Yeah, it's not wasted. It's just like
awkward.
They could have booked it better. You know, the lead up could have made more sense.
Was Leo Rush at stage side?
Yeah. He was really good.
These guys are fun.
What?
They look like merfolk.
Shred. I don't know what they think when they create these minis. Yeah, Leo Rush. I don't remember him having any like big spots, but I remember him selling the shit out of being afraid of the demon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he like came up behind him and like Balor like turned and he like recoiled. He was like, and, like backed off. Like, and I think it's cool. Like, obviously it's just Finn Balor with face paint on, right? But like they treat it like it's real.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. Also, and I've seen this comment online also, it was a bit of a waste.
Boy, you're about to get bopped.
That two of my characters are berserked. Or furied.
Oh, I understand. They can't not attack.
Yeah. So, and these guys heal for a lot. They have Cure 3 as their... So, I have to wait for Yuffie and hope she can do something. Ooh, you know what I can do? Oh, missed. Damn it. Well, luckily Tifa's a huge badass.
Fuck yeah.
Also Cloud, I guess. What they did was... So there was... The internet was speculating that the demon was going to show up at WrestleMania, right? Mm-hmm. And rather than having that huge pop of like, oh my god, it's the demon, he's doing it. The Raw before, well, they had an interview segment in the ring where whoever, I can't remember who it was, one of the like, one of their interview
moment of bliss.
Performers. No, it was like one of the actual interviewers.
Okay.
Charlie Caruso. Was like, what do you think about Lashley? What do you think about the rumors on the internet that Finn Balor is going to do the demon at WrestleMania? And Lashley was like, oh, fuck, who demons? I'm not afraid. And then like Finn Balor came up on the Titantron and was like, you should be afraid because I do have demons. And then like it transitioned to him in demon makeup, and then he went, rah, rah. And they just like kind of like buried their lead, right? Like, because they're like, all right, well, like you took the excitement out of him showing up as the demon. Like, it was still cool and whatever, but like I think it would have been more fun if they had just like let that lie. Also, like, shouts out to Bobby Lashley, who wore like cat eye lenses at WrestleMania. Not actual cat eyes, but he wore like yellow contact lenses.
Okay.
So he had like devil eyes. And I don't know if that's... I don't know. No one mentioned it. And I don't know if it was just something that, like, they told him to do, or if he was like, I'm gonna do a thing also. But I thought he looked really good. It made him look really intimidating. Lashley, I don't think he's a bad heel, but he's just such a, like, friendly face and big doe eyes. Mm-hmm. So, like, sometimes when he's, like, being mean, I'm just like, Bobby.
Come on, bud.
But like him wearing those lenses, I was like, oh,
that does it for me.
Now you're a bully. Just like that.
I like Leo Rush a lot, and I want Leo Rush to become his own character.
Yeah. No, I botched this.
I think at least around the time I quit watching, roughly when I fell off was when Finn took the title off of Lashley by pinning Leo Rush. But like Leo Rush was like keeping up. And was like dropping big moves on Finn.
Yeah, Leo Rush is amazing. And I'm sure that they're going to let him do his own thing.
Yeah. It seems like they have a hard time committing to selling small men. Because that was part of Finn's narrative when I was watching, was like all these big, huge guys were like, oh, you're too small to take on Brock Lesnar. You have to be a big boy like us if you want to. And it's just like, I've seen that in a lot of discussion online of people being like, oh, whatever wrestler's too small to actually win this title, or it's so weird that they have this title or did this move. They're too small. And it's like, no, man. If they've got the moves, like, let them do it. Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch.
Really good. A few little mistakes you can nitpick. for the most part, WrestleMania was pretty clean, right? And like Kofi hurt Daniel Bryan, but it wasn't something that was immediately obvious.
Yeah.
There were some mistakes, you know, in this match, but I don't get nitpicky about that stuff. It's just kind of like, well, it's the main event. It would have been nice if it was a little bit more clean. And two things in particular. One relates to the finish, and the other is the finish.
Okay.
So the finish was that Becky Lynch pinned Ronda Rousey. And in order to facilitate that, they had to get Charlotte out of the ring. And the way that they did that was Lynch and Rousey threw her into a table that was set up in the corner of the ring. And I don't know if it was because of the angle that she hit the table, or that they back suplexed her into the table. And so, but it didn't really break.
Oh.
Like the very bottom of it kind of buckled. But like the big table didn't really crack in the middle like you want it to.
It didn't really sell someone going through a table kind of thing?
Yeah, but everyone reacted as if it had. So she still rolled out of the ring. They didn't try to do it again. She took the bump and she rolled out of the ring. The announcers, oh my God, Charlotte through the table. And I was like, I don't know.
Off the table.
maybe just break from your script and, you know what I mean? Like, figure something else out. It wasn't totally believable, but it was like the moment it had happened, you'd already forgotten about it because they were on to the next thing. It was a very fast match. This match was really good. Everyone performed really well, despite the like small mistakes that they make, but whatever. Considering that, as much as I love Becky Lynch, she's not the best wrestler, technically.
Okay.
She's good, but like, she's not the best.
Okay.
Right? And Rousey, as good as she is...
Who do you think is the best women's wrestler? Because I feel like there's not many that you're very impressed with.
No, I like a lot of them. It's just Becky Lynch, like, her technical, like, actual wrestling isn't like the best. It's just fine.
Okay.
You know, I don't get offended. I'm not like, man, she's trash. Why do they give her... Like, I think her wrestling is totally presentable and believable, and it's fine. It's just not like top tier.
Okay.
And I think Sasha is sloppy.
Okay.
She's got good moves, but most of the time she doesn't pull them off right. But most of my problems with Sasha are how she's booked and the fact that they insist on having her play a babyface. She's much better as a heel.
Okay.
But like her finisher is like the double knees, and she almost never actually hits it.
Okay.
And that might be more on her opponents than it is on her actually. But I just feel like I can't watch a Sasha Banks match without seeing like a really obvious botch. And that makes me think like...
So who do you think is top tier in the women's division? Charlotte, really?
For sure. Yeah, I think she's the best one.
Okay.
Bayley's really good too, also.
Asuka?
Asuka, yeah. There's a lot of really good ones. Charlotte, I think, is like... I think in terms of like technical wrestling, but also character work, is the best. Like, Asuka's really good at like emoting, but I haven't seen anything that like makes me love her like mic work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She reacts to things in a really fun way, but like I don't know, I just haven't, and I also didn't follow her in NXT, so I can't like judge too harshly.
I was just curious because like most of what I've seen of Rousey has been this build up for this match.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of like not actually her wrestling. So I was curious if like they're trying so hard to sell her as like the best. And I was curious like who, since you have so much more context, who do you think actually is at the top? I was just curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as far as
so that happened, and I was kind of like, you know, it wasn't enough to like ruin anything or like cause any concern, but it was kind of just like, well, that's unfortunate that they had this big spot to like set up the finish, and they kind of like, it wasn't anything that anybody could really control. Sometimes that happens with tables. It was just unfortunate. And so the finish was that Rousey picked up Becky to put her in the Piper's Pit move, right? Are you familiar with what that was?
No.
What that is? All right. It's essentially like...
Sounds like a submission.
No, it's actually, it's a slam.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to an F5.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, without like going into great detail. That's basically what it is. It's similar to an F5. Fireman's carry into a slam.
Okay.
Right. And so she got Becky up into that. Becky adjusted her leverage so that when Ronda went for the actual slam, she was able to transition it into a pinning predicament.
Okay.
Okay. And that was the finish. But Rousey, in her struggling against that, arched her shoulders in a way that both of her shoulders left the ground during the count. Which made...
But they still counted?
They still counted. And I don't know if the ref noticed, because he was kind of at a weird angle.
Okay.
And it's clear when you look back on it that that's what happened. And then, but then they did another. They made it worse because they called attention to it. So they after the match was finished, they did a replay, and Corey Graves started talking about like the controversy of like, oh, Rousey, her shoulders were up, and the ref didn't count it, and all this stuff. That's like, but that's not going to be a thing.
It was a botch, but he tried to spin it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas they could have just ignored it. They could have just not showed that on the replay or something. You know what I mean? Like, and they might use that when Rousey comes back. Rousey, we've talked about Rousey wanted to take a leave to think about her family and things.
Yeah.
Also, during that match, Rousey broke her hand.
Jesus.
So now she has to be away for a while, whether or not her plans were to begin with. So when she comes back, and she's still got 2 years on her contract, so she'll be back. They might use that, depending on how long it's been, if they think people will remember it. They might use that as like your victory over me wasn't legit or something. It didn't look to me like that was their intention. That looked like a botch to me. So that's my hot take. But the match was outstanding, and I like jumped up in the air when Becky won. I was really excited about that.
Dope. Damn, you just got fucking done dirty, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that
dirty deeds done dirtily.
That's not a friend. Oh, I have
What's the next pay-per-view?
Money in the Bank.
Okay. And when is that?
May. I don't know. I don't know the date, but it'll be in May.
What have they been booking Becky like since WrestleMania? Has she been defending or?
She hasn't defended yet.
Just walking around with 2 huge ass belts.
Yeah, she's calling herself Becky 2 Belts.
Awesome, I love it.
Amazing. She's been on both shows, each episode since. She is feuding with Lacey Evans.
Oh, has Lacey Evans yet had a match?
Yes.
Okay.
Lacey Evans did her like walk-on thing that she's been doing for the past 11 years. And she got face-to-face with Lynch, and then she actually punched Lynch. She gave her the women's right. And then she's officially on Raw as of the shakeup. And so she challenged Natalya, who is vying for an opportunity for the title, to a number 1 contendership match, which she won.
Okay.
So now she has got the title shot against Becky Lynch. Money in the Bank.
What's Asuka been up to?
Asuka is now in the SmackDown tag division.
Really?
Yep.
Damn.
Paige made a passing comment the SmackDown after WrestleMania that she had a new team that were gonna give the Iconics a run for their money. And then this past SmackDown, they had a situation where all the women's tag teams were coming out.
Okay.
And Paige came out and she said, I've got a brand new team that's gonna rile you folks up good. And then she called out Asuka. Which I was like, oh, okay. And
who'd you call out?
And then
Jesus, just say it.
Asuka's partner is NXT call up Kairi Sane.
Okay.
Which they have similar styles, and I'm very excited to have Kairi Sane on the main roster because she's fantastic and adorable. The pirate prince.
Oh my god, I was going to ask if that's who it was. Okay.
Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned that their solution to the problem that I've assumed that they have with Asuka is to pair her with the other Japanese woman who doesn't speak very good English. Or speak English well, I should say, ironically. But, you know, when you have wrestlers who don't necessarily have the ability to communicate in a way that is appealing to a mass audience.
A mass-wide audience.
Right. I would rather give them a manager to speak for them and have them just show their wrestling skills off.
Yeah.
Which is the role,
an emote.
Which is the role of a manager. Then just not book them at all. You know? Like, and it gives Paige something to do. So.
Oh, is Paige kind of acting as their manager?
Yeah.
Cool.
She introduced them, and she was at ringside during their match that they had subsequently.
Okay.
So, like, I wish that they would give Asuka a better opportunity to just stand on her own. But I see it. It's not an issue for me.
Yeah.
When Asuka speaks, I can understand her perfectly fine for the most part. And also, her skills are good enough that she can convey her emotions. It's very exciting when, like, Asuka says some stuff in English, and then you get her riled up, and she starts screaming in your face in Japanese. I'm like, it's tight. It was awesome. She can still do that. But, you know, it can be challenging to put her in a more detailed angle with someone if the language barrier is a bit of an issue. So I'm happy that this might increase her visibility. Sorry, I have to do a thing here.
Are you good, boo boo? We're kind of at time. Do you wanna? Are you able to save here?
No, but this is my last objective.
Okay.
So,
talking to your purple friend in his cave.
Oh, I did not do that. Oh, I don't know if I can do this.
Oh shit. What'd you fuck up?
Yeah, I screwed up. I screwed up big time.
Straight up fucked.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's just call it here then. Because I did save recently, and I haven't done anything important since then. So, we'll just call it there.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, everyone.
Yeah. We appreciate you big time.
Continue.